Hey everyone, how's it going? It's your guy Manny, and this is the lineup. Alright, so first game of a back-to-back is in the books, and it did not go well for the Raps. Boston was leading the entire game and didn't look back once. In fact, they ended up picking up the W 104-88. I think a lot of it has to do with the Raps adjusting to Pascal being back in the rotation, and I don't think you need to chalk it up to anything more or anything less than that. Now, if we take a look at the call review, odds makers did favor the Celtics to win this one. In fact, they were 2-point favorites as well as favorites on the money line. They were right. Odds makers were right, and I was wrong on those two things once again. But I was right about going below the over-under of 209 since both teams combined to score 192 points. My overall record is now 16-20, so we're hoping to make sure that changes tonight, especially knowing that the Raps are back in action again. Like I said, a back-to-back. Tonight they're in Philly to take on the Sixers, and if we take a look at the odds for that one, odds makers are once again going with the Raptors' opponents. The Sixers are 2-point favorites, so obviously they're the favorites on the money line as well. The over-under has been set at 210. And I just want to let you know, when I'm making my picks, I'm looking at two things. Specifically for the Sixers, it's their last two opponents as well as their injuries. Their last two opponents, number one was the Bucks, who allow 108 points per game. Number two, it was the Knicks, who allow 109 points per game. Toronto allows the second lowest total in the league with just 102 points, so I expect the Raps' defense to frustrate Philly. Now, as far as injuries go, the Sixers are without Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, and those three guys are offensive cogs for the Sixers. They average around 58 points per game. So with those three being out and knowing how much the Sixers have allowed the last two games and how much they've scored the last two games, I'm going to go with the Raps on this one. And I'm going to take the under on 210 because the Raps, like I said, only allow 102 points per game. Them themselves only score about 103. So under on the 210. As far as it goes for defense, Toronto needs to take advantage of Philly's poor shooting numbers. Over the last two games without their three offensive cogs, Philly is averaging just under 40% from the field per game, and that is not a good mark. You know, the standard in the NBA is at least 44 to 45%. As far as offense goes, Toronto needs to focus on those transition points. Of the 103 points per game that Toronto averages, about a quarter of that comes from transition. 23 points per game in total come from transition. That's amongst the best in the league, just before the Lakers and the Hornets, or just after the Lakers and the Hornets. Thanks for watching, and by the way, if you haven't already, make sure you check out the game day preview done earlier today. Make sure you check out the wrap-up with the guys tonight. There's also the quick react that's going to be coming out tonight. The recap is going to be available tomorrow morning, and you want to make sure that you're subscribing to Raptors Republic YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next edition of the lineup when the Raps take on the Pistons on Saturday.